Jeremiah 2:8. For thus says the Lord God of hosts, after the glory has he sent me unto the nations that spoiled you. Spoil means to rob. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. So remember back in the first video of this, he says he put his glory upon Israel. Now Zechariah is telling you, for thus says the Lord God of hosts, after the glory has he sent me onto the nations that spoiled you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. Jeremiah 51:20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, the children of Israel. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms. Revelations 12:5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations, that's Messiah, with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up onto God and to his throne. Now, if you want to read more about the rod of iron, read Psalms 2, all about the Messiah and the rod of iron. I'm just going to read Psalms 2:9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. That's the Messiah, to beat the nations with a rod of iron. Revelations 2:26. And he that overcomes and keeps my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. What is he going to give you? Power over the nations. Revelations 2:27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And then you can go back to Isaiah where he says, gather yourselves, O ye nations, for you shall be broken in pieces. Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles, to the people in the islands, or people in captivity, afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. The nations shall Isaiah 17:13. The nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters to fight the Messiah. But God shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the shaft of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. Isaiah 43:9. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this, and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear, and say it is truth. Jeremiah 50:12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. That's all the nations. She that bare you shall be ashamed when this truth comes out. Behold, the hittermost of the nations shall be a wilderness and a dry land and a desert. Jeremiah 10:10. But the Lord is the true God. He is a living God and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation. Zephaniah 3:6. I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none pass by. Their cities are destroyed, that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. Jeremiah 25:13. And I will bring upon them that land all my words, which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah has prophesied against all the nations. Isaiah 52:10. The Lord has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Of whose God? The children of Israel's God. John 4:22. Ye worship, and you know not what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Who? God of our salvation. You worship and you know not what you worship. We worship and we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Isaiah 45:1. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Who? The children of Israel. 1 Chronicles 16:35. And say ye, save us, O God of our salvation, and gather us together, and deliver us from the heathen, that we may give thanks to thy holy name, and glory in thy praise. Do you understand the Bible? Isaiah 11:12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 45:20. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge, that set up the wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save. Ezekiel 39:27. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. Remember, he's going to glorify you. You're going to be sanctified in front of them. They're going to know you're God's children. Isaiah 60:12. So no more lies. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So any nation who's not serving God, who has their idols set up in their land, they're going to perish. Micah 7:16. The nation shall see and be confounded.